Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome as we get in to the Zoom room. And welcome to those on YouTube joining us live. We will wait a couple more minutes for everyone to get into the Zoom. I see the participant numbers climbing. Excited for a great turnout. Okay, welcome everybody. Gina, you are more than welcome to keep your camera on, but it will show up on YouTube if you if you want to turn it off until you're presenting. Okay, a couple more minutes and then we'll go ahead and launch into this one. Welcome everyone. It is great to see people on campus today. We have our STEM event as well going on campus, a STEM Success Day. So thank you to those putting that event on. So there is a buzz as we get into spring. But seeing now that it's 2:17, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the San Diego Mesa College Campus Community Forum of May 10th, 2022. As you can tell, I am not President Luster. My name is Lorenz Legaspi, the proud Vice President of Administrative Services, and we'll go ahead and kick off this meeting today. We are excited. We'll have a presentation on our student success teams and data coaches, as well as some updates from myself and the other vice presidents, and then President Luster will be joining us at the end of the meeting to give her updates as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And for administrative services, just a few updates from our team. One, masks are still required on campus. So it is deeply important that we still have a mask mandate as a district, as the San Diego Community College District, and at Mesa College. So it is important that when you are inside of any building, it is important that we wear masks when you are with other people. Also, too, I want to give a shout out to our classified professionals for Classified Appreciation Week. There are significant amounts of activities going on, a scavenger hunt. I believe there was some golf going on today that I wasn't able to make it to, but I hear that it is great fun. And then also to Classicon, giving a shout out to that coming up in about a month. So stay tuned for some great activities coming up shortly. Also, to spending a little bit more time on our classified professionals, I want to announce and remind people that the classified onboarding coordinator position is available for applications, and we're accepting them through Friday. So I'll send a reminder out later today for that one. But if you are a classified professional and you are interested in creating and being part of creating an onboarding program for our classified professionals, there will be an opportunity over this next year to do so. And then also I want to remind the campus and the community about our fall 2022 technology request deadline. So Dr. Branson has sent that out to the entire campus on the distribution list. And so for those that are in the classroom and needing software for your classes and for the fall 2022, if you can believe it, we're there already for fall 2022. It is important that you get your requests in on time so that our team can work diligently over the summer to make sure that the computers that are needed, the software that is needed, are placed on the computers where they are needed for the fall semester. So thank you, Kevin, and to the tech team for that one. Staying with technology a little bit longer, I want to give an update on the technology refresh program. And so computers are rolling in. As you can remember, I've been talking about supply chain issues ever since the beginning of COVID and the shortage of chips across the nation. And so I am pleased to announce that we are starting to receive computers from our orders. We've looked at different vendors, we found new vendors, any ways to make sure that we are refreshing all the technology computers on campus. And so the computers are rolling in, and then we want to say that we are done with the LRC fourth floor. That was the first priority. And then the next set of computers will be the rest of the LRC, and then student services, and then all of the labs, instructional labs on campus, along with, at the same time, over the summer, making sure that our employee computers get refreshed as well. So with the supply chain issues seemingly figured out, we'll be seeing hundreds and then thousands of computers on campus being refreshed the next year, maybe year and a half as we go. And so big shout out again to the tech team for that one, as we are all looking forward to having new and refreshed technology in our offices and classrooms. Also too, is Smile season is underway, as Trustee Reinerson likes to coin the term. We've had many culminating events so far. We have big ones yet to come. And so to all the teams, specifically from administrative services that are putting on the events and helping support in the AV, in the setup, in the planning, in the teardown, in the cleaning, and the facilities, all of that. Thank you for putting on great events, at least just from the administrative services side. And I'm sure many thank yous are there for the programs that are putting on the events. They've been wonderful fun, and being able to see the students in person, celebrate them, and be together, and oftentimes share a meal has been important and wonderful as we are transitioning more back to campus. And with that, those are the updates from administrative services. And now I'd like to pass it on to Dr. Ashante Hans to give the updates from student services.
Thanks so much, Lorenz. A lot of good information there, especially about the technology. So yay for all of that. I am very excited to be here with you all today, and I only have a few updates because we are really preparing for Smile season and getting our students ready for those incredible moments and finishing the semester strong. So one of the things that I did want to note, and I believe you all have heard John Crescetti talk about this, is that we're doing a shift with our administrative procedures and some of our board policies. And so you're going to see some changes. And one in particular is that what we often refer to as board policy 3100, which are our student rights responsibilities, campus safety, and administrative due process. That is going to shift to board policy 5500. And you'll see a lot of these changes. And what this does is it's going to help us align just statewide with policies, so that students don't have to think, okay, it's 3100 here, it's 5500 there, it's 3200 in another place. So this will help us all just kind of follow these policies statewide. And so we will start to see these shifts in our upcoming catalog. And I know for ones that impact student services in particular, we're really trying to change some of that language now to kind of get people ready. And we'll have some type of guide that will help people understand what the old policy number was, what the new one will be. But just note that those shifts will be taking place, and we'll see a lot of them in place for the fall. So in partnership with our sister colleges, Mesa College is co-sponsoring San Diego Community College District's annual rite of passage ceremony. And this is honoring the academic excellence, determination, and sacrifices which have led to the success of our Black graduates and transfer students. This year's event will be hosted at Miramar College, and it will be taking place, I believe, tomorrow or Thursday. I'm sure Vicki can help me with that in the chat if she's here. We also wanted to let you all know that in partnership with R&D facilitators, that Mesa College is going to host a half-day retreat for our Transformation Institute. So we have the leadership team. You all at our last President's Cabinet retreat got to hear a little bit of the feedback that we received from some of our students. And so we're going to be hosting a retreat this Thursday. And they will begin to kind of center the student voice and really figure out how we can go deep and learn how to facilitate difficult dialogues that have been delayed far too long. So these leadership teams are going to provide an incredible opportunity for the team to grow, but then by their work, they're going to expand that growth and invite other people into that space, so we can practice with each other and not be afraid to speak truths that will help us shift towards becoming, not shift, but help us to move closer to becoming the leading college of equity and excellence. And I'm just going to try to share screen really quickly so that you can see who is going to be on these teams. So hopefully it has shown up. This is what our team will look like. We have few pictures of some of our students, faculty, administrators, classified professionals that will be serving on the team. As you can see, we have a diverse group of people that are partnering with us, and we will have many opportunities to be able to elevate and to share the great work that they are doing. I did want to remind you all, a while ago, I told you that we were going to be awarding transportation grants to about 2,000 Mesa College students. Each was going to receive $200. But when we saw how great the need was, we made the decision to fund all students, all 3,245 students who applied for transportation grants. So students have already started to receive $200. And we're very excited to be able to even do a little bit to help allay some of the challenges and concerns that our students are facing. This month is Foster Youth Awareness Month. And so our FAST Center, which stands for Fostering Academic Success and Transitions, they hosted an open house last Friday. It was incredible to meet the students, to see how well they are supported and loved in the space that we've created for them. And there are a variety of events and activities that are going to be taking place so that we can get information, promote some awareness, and better serve and support our students. I just want to thank our Evaluations Transfer Center, Associated Students, Student Affairs for hosting Grad Week last week. It was truly a community effort. We know our bookstore was involved, and it was nice seeing students out on campus picking up their regalia and just being excited about what is going to happen. There's a countdown clock on our commencement website. So commencement is 17 days, 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 24 seconds away. And so we are very excited. It is the ultimate of all Smile Season events here for us on campus. And we are so happy to do this in person so that we can see our students, their families, really enjoy and honor this moment that they have arrived at. So that is again going to be on Friday, May 27th at 4 p.m. It's going to be right here on campus at our Merrill Douglas Stadium football field. And we look forward to the many faculty who have signed up to participate, the volunteers who have signed up to support. We could still use your support if you are interested in volunteering, and most excited to see our students on this day. So those are our updates for now, Lorenz. I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Hands. Wonderful updates from Student Services. And now moving on to our instructional side of the house, Dr. Isabel O'Connor.
Well, thank you. And I have wonderful updates too. So here we go. The very first thing is to say how hard our instruction family is really working nicely together to finalize our fall schedule, which we hope is a schedule that has that meets the students' needs. I will have a greater update, more in depth at PCAP on Tuesday, as our input ends on the 14th, which is just 4 days away. But in addition to that, I want to recognize the great work that deans and department chairs do and have done together for the past 3.5 years, really working through a lot of the challenges. And we could not hope for a better team to lead us in the process. And I also want to acknowledge the great work that our administrative assistants in every single school do to input the schedule, to double check everything, and to make sure that our students get the credit that they deserve by building the classes together. So yes, they are superheroes, and we certainly appreciate the great work that they do. Speaking of scheduling, I am just very proud to share that we are not just doing very careful work in each department. We're beginning to have some cross-school and program much needed conversations. We call them the Platinum Five. That's a place to start. all our work is concentrated on seeing how we schedule things and removing scheduling barriers for students. Step one of a much larger project that I will be sharing later on in next year, I guess. Yes, Lorenz mentioned STEM Student Success Day. It's been a great idea and a lot of fun. It was impressive to see when I looked at a wall that kept falling down because of the wind, but the wall that was built on a big cardboard with all the stars of the students who are transferring and finishing and going places. It was amazing, the destination that our students in STEM are going to. And it's just because they did it in STEM, I know the same happens in every single program. And by the way, speaking of programs, last Friday, I had the honor of handing the certificates to our physical therapy assistant. That is always the most fun celebration, because the students are a cohort that spent 2 years together. And so their final celebration is always really special. And those students are also going to a great destination, a very rewarding, well-paying job. We're very proud of the work they do on the community and how well they represent Mesa. All right, one last thing before I move on is we are watching very carefully the implementation of AB 928. It's a new law that calls for a single gen ed path for our students. And in last week or so, the 3 academic senates of the community colleges, of the Cal States and the UCs met in order to work this out. Looks like we're going to land on 34 units for the transfer pathway. And obviously we are watching this very, very carefully, because it can have an impact on the current IGETC and on some of our disciplines. So we'll have more as events develop, but being sure that we are watching it carefully. And with that, if Lorenz gives me permission, I am happy to, do I have permission? I don't know. Yay, okay, good. I am happy to move on and share the amazing work that the Pathways community has on campus has been doing moving forward and making a reality of the student success teams. We've talked a lot about it. Now we are putting pen to paper, developing a pilot, and in addition to that, we're going to couple it with another great initiative. It's a Pathways project in cooperation with Institutional Effectiveness on data coaching. And I have the honor of introducing the tri-chairs of this initiative. That's Ian Duckles, Gina Abiade, and Pahua Bang. And with that, I am going to pass it on to the 3 of them to share with us where we are with this great work. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Hello, I'm Ian Duckles. I teach philosophy here at Mesa. And as Dr. O'Connor mentioned, I am one of the tri-chairs of the Student Success Team work group. We, along with all the other members of the work group, as well as my co-leads, Gina and Pahua, have put together a proposal, a draft proposal of a student success team pilot that we plan to institute in the 22-23 academic year. And so I'm going to go ahead and run you through the PowerPoint that I have created along with my co-leads. And let me just get going. Perfect. Student success teams. So there's lots of different models for how to construct a student success team. And the version that we're going to pilot is called a networked support model. So what we have is a network of people, and I'll discuss who those people are, what the roles are in just a second. So it's an identifiable network of people that students can go to for a variety of support. And one of the responsibilities of the team members will be to build communication channels across the team members so as to streamline and integrate their activities. And so from the sort of student perspective, The team members would be listed in a student's portal. Exactly how we are going to do that is, again, things that we need to work out. And the students will then receive targeted messaging from members of their team. And when students then reach out, the team member they contact will have the information necessary to guide that student and to guide their conversation. So that's the kind of framework that we're looking to put in place. Now, our pilot plan is going to begin with a cohort of 30 to 50 students. And the cohort will be drawn from undecided students in their first year from groups that are disproportionately impacted. Again, this is a pilot program. Our eventual goal is to roll this out for everyone on campus, all of our students, but we got to start somewhere. And so this is the group that we've decided to begin with. In addition, we want to ensure that the students that are targeted by our pilot aren't already being served by many of the other programs that MESA offers, because MESA does offer a lot of support services for various groups of students, very strong support services for former foster youth, for example, support services for veterans. Lots of other groups have support services. And so we want to try and help fill some of those gaps that aren't covered by other groups. So again, cohort of 30 to 40 students from the groups that are described. In addition, as we create this cohort, we'll also try to create a control group that isn't targeted by this student success team. And this way we can help assess the effectiveness of the work of the team. And as I mentioned, we plan to run this pilot during the 2022-2023 academic year. So we'll be starting obviously in the fall. Now, we want this to be a data-driven process. And so we've developed several kind of key data points that will serve as the trigger points for the intervention by the student success team. And this is one of the ways in which the work of the student success team is integrated with the data coaching project that Dr. O'Connor mentioned, and then we'll talk a little bit more about later. But this data coaching project identified a number of data points that are correlated with student success. And our group narrowed this down to kind of 6 points that are all relevant to students who are in their first year at MESA. And so you can see them here. These would be students who registration appointment has passed, but they've not yet registered. Students who enrolled in the current term, but not enrolled in the next term. Students enrolled in fewer than 15 units, but at least 9 units. Students in their first 2 terms who've not completed or not enrolled in transfer level math or transfer level English. And then students who've not completed their FAFSA application. That's the federal application. It's a financial aid application for federal financial aid. I forget what the acronym stands for. And again, as I mentioned, these data points, they've shown a strong correlation with student success, and they'll give us a kind of a timeline or a framework for when this team will intervene and engage with students. In addition, these data points will also enable us to assess the effectiveness of the team. Again, I mentioned we'll have that kind of matching cohort. We can track student success based on these data points and based on other measures as well. So that's going to be kind of structuring the work and giving advice and guidance to the team about when they want to interact with students. Speaking of data-driven research, it shows that people are more engaged in PowerPoint presentations when there's pictures of cute animals. So this is my first picture of a rodent of unusual size. So Princess Bride reference, if anyone remembers that wonderful movie. This, of course, is a picture of a capybara, which is the world's largest rodent. And boy, these guys sure are cute. You can see them at the zoo. They're fantastic. So now to the composition of the team. And we're looking for a team that will have basically these 6 roles. There'll be a discipline faculty, a data coach, a counselor, a student services liaison, and an equity coach, a peer mentor or peer mentors, 1 or 2, depending on the sort of availability of the person filling that role, and then an administrator. And so all members of the team will have these responsibilities. They'll be meeting bi-weekly to discuss progress, figuring out how to do the work of the team. These team members will share responsibility for contacting students, reaching out to them via their preferred method as identified by the team. And I just want to mention, a part of the idea of this student success team is it will intervene more proactively with the students. Instead of waiting for the students to reach out for help, the team will be checking in regularly with the students to ensure that they're getting the support they need, as well as with those kind of data points I mentioned, kind of gently nudging the students to enroll in transfer level English or math if they haven't done so, if they've missed their registration, started the registration deadline. Hey, noticed you hadn't registered, please register. And all of the team members will have this responsibility for contacting the students. They'll, of course, be providing regular reports on progress of the team to the Mesa Pathways Committee, coordinate as needed between meetings to plan and host programming to benefit students, identify trends and respond to student needs, and develop support and communication for the students in the cohort. In addition, right, we have those kind of general roles shared by everyone, and then we have specific roles for specific members of the team. So we have the discipline faculty member. From the ACP is likely the ACP, those are our academic and career pathways. As I mentioned before, I think we're going to be starting with the undecided students, and part of the work of the team will be to help those undecided students decide on the path that they want to pursue while they're at Mesa College. This discipline faculty member is going to be kind of the project lead and will coordinate the activity of the other team members, which is not to say that they're the president, or as it were, but they will be serving as the kind of main lead person to organize and coordinate. They'll be providing mentorship and advice to students, helping to support retention from fall to spring, assisting your completers. They'll also be kind of working to provide information about career and educational opportunities associated with the various ACPs, and they'll be working with the counselors on this as well, and developing and identifying curriculum to support the ACP. We're imagining this person will be committing to about 2 hours of work per week, and this is a role that should be filled by an instructional faculty. The next important role is the data coach. And the data coach, as the name sort of suggests, is there to support the team with data collection at key points in the semester, provide cohort analysis, visualizations, presentations, and report to the team. And again, help the team understand the data, sort through the data, and will help determine which data is kind of relevant to the work of the team. Again, we're imagining the commitment here is 2 hours a week. And we think basically any member of the campus community could fill this role. There will be some training that's associated with the data coach. And again, I'll speak a bit more about that later on in the presentation. Then we'll have a counselor. And the counselor, as the name suggests, will be doing a lot of counseling type work, guidance, advice, and assistance, and exploring career options, ensuring students in the correct major, providing advice and guidance to the team on the counseling process, and ensuring that proper procedures are being followed. Because of the important work of counselors, they have the largest commitment. We're looking for about a 16-hour-a-week commitment from the counselor, and this really does need to be a role that does need to be filled by a person who is a trained professional counselor from our counseling department. Here's a second rodent of unusual size, now going in the other direction. This is the pygmy jerboa, which is the world's smallest rodent. I don't think they're quite as cute as the capybara, but that is still a pretty cute guy right there. As you can see, they're very, very tiny little fellows. Then we have the Student Services Liaison Equity Coach. This person will be responsible for coordinating with student services, advising the team on resources available through student services, help connecting students with appropriate student support services. They'll also be taking the lead on ensuring that equity is at the forefront of all our efforts, and will be researching and advising the team on equitable practices. This person, again, a time commitment of about 2 hours a week, and this is a role that really needs to be filled by a classified professional. Then we want peer mentors on the team. The peer mentors will be providing guidance, advice, and assistance from a student perspective. They'll be aiding students in navigating the college and helping connect students with appropriate campus resources. and also offering regular office hours to meet with the students. The time commitment here is we're looking at about a total of 10 hours per week. And this is a role that could be filled by one peer mentor doing 10 hours or two peer mentors doing 5 hours a week. And we do really want this to be a student taking on this role. So it'd be maybe a student who's been at Mesa, for more than a year, has a little more experience with how the college works. And then lastly, an administrator. An administrator who checks in with the team regularly, ensures that the team has access to proper institutional supports. And the time commitment here is closer to an hour a week. So this administrator won't be taking as large a role as the other members, but it is important that there be an administrator involved. And again, this could be any administrator, but likely an academic dean of some sort. So that's the basic structure of the team. And now I want to turn things over to my colleague Gina to talk a bit about the data coaching side of things.
Thank you, Ian. For those that don't know me, I am Gina Abbiati from the Math Department, and I am currently serving as one of the co-leads for the data coaching work group with Anna McComb from the Institutional Effectiveness Office. As we're looking forward to Guided Pathways work next year, we really believe that data coaching is going to be integral in the work of the student success teams, as Ian mentioned. All of our efforts are centering around the State Chancellor's Office, encouraging campuses to create data-driven inquiry that will inform the work that we're doing in our Guided Pathways development. We know that data discussions, particularly those centered around equity, are key to addressing the needs of our most vulnerable students. And while analyzing data can sometimes be challenging or bring up emotions, I mean, we're talking about students after all, it's not just numbers. We want to have this set of data coaches that can help facilitate discussions and navigate in places where that might be a little tough for some folks. At Mesa, all of the best work that we do happens when we're brave enough to look at problems head on with the intent of creating lasting change. Careful consideration of data can guide us to find opportunities where we can improve conditions for our students. Data coaching can help us make sense of data and increase data literacy across the campus. Some folks are more comfortable reading data than others, and sometimes folks have a little bit more understanding of what it's saying, what data is saying, and also what it is not. So as projects arise, the data coaches will be able to help folks at all levels look at the data and draw meaningful conclusions. The coaches will also serve as a resource to what data is available and whether the sample sizes that we are able to grab are large enough to actually work with. We're aiming to have the coaches facilitate data-driven discussions that can help improve student outcomes. And the ultimate goal is aligned with our college's mission, is that we want the data coaches to become an integral component in eliminating equity gaps, while helping the student success teams understand what actions may make a difference. A few weeks ago, a lot of you, thank you for filling out the survey that we sent out to campus. And I'm really excited to share that we have about 10 folks that are interested in being data coaches from all across campus. So that's helping us check off our first item on the box, which is to create a diverse team. Next slide, please, Ian. Our plan for data coaching in the fall of 2020 will be to train the team. We have a set of badges that have been set up through Canvas. This is a module that was already set up through the Institutional Effectiveness Office for a different purpose, but we're going to be able to use it in this capacity. And the badges include 5 main topics: data and statistics, so gathering some general knowledge about those, how to work with surveys, a module on how to work with data, and then data visualization, because the presentation of data makes a difference in how folks interpret it. And then also an understanding of what data sources are available and how to use them. Within our goals for the first year, as I mentioned, create a diverse team of coaches that are interested in using data effectively. And the plan is to have this team of people work in a cohort through the training process together. This will allow them to analyze data sets and practice how to interpret the data and to humanize it. We're talking about more than just numbers, as I mentioned before. Each of those numbers represents students, and so we want to make sure that we're having respectful conversations around whatever it is that we find. Another goal for our first year is to support the pilot student success team that Ian was speaking about, and to help them develop meaningful narrative from the numbers. Thinking about the 9 key data points that Ian had just discussed, some of them are things like looking at students who are enrolled in the current term but haven't signed up for the next one, or students who are in their first 2 terms but haven't completed transfer level English or math. Now, we need a way to access this data with student identifiers, because it's not enough to know how many people fall into these categories. We actually need names of students so that we can contact them and reach out to offer assistance. So one of the key things that's happening is that the Office of Institutional Effectiveness is working right now with the district office to create queries that will allow us to do that. And we're waiting anxiously for these queries to be available. And part of the data coaching training will be to help those folks learn how to use the data within this new process, because we'll be now able to get data with student name and some kind of contact information, whether that's an email address or a phone number. The team will also work to choose some data coaching goals that will resonate with and support the MESA 2030 plan. And then as we look past the 2022-23 school year, we have longer term goals of providing support for folks doing program review, maybe grant proposals, and departmental projects. Next slide, please, Ian. Further out, we know that this first year will only have 1 student success team, the pilot, and as we learn more about how to effectively have these student success teams, eventually we'll have 9 teams, and we'll need to have 9 coaches, 1 for each team. And so campus-wide involvement is going to be key to building success in this program. The more folks that are involved across campus, the more successful it will be. And we all interact with students, and so we all share a piece of making this successful. We really look forward to working with you, and we hope that you will come join our teams. You can see our contact information there. You can contact either of us, but I'm focused more on data coaching, and Ian is focused more on the student success team, though we're working together in everything. You want to take the next slide, Ian?
Sure, thank you, Gina. And so that really kind of wraps up the presentation. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to all the people who have worked with us over the past roughly a year as we've put together this idea. And we're really kind of excited to continue this work going forward. And I look forward, if anyone else would like to participate, you saw the contact information, please give us shoot us an email, and we'd love to work with you. We'd love to include you in these conversations to help us develop this program, which is ultimately there to serve and benefit our students and to make their time at Mesa the most successful time that it can be. So again, thanks to everyone, and thank you. And I don't know if we have time at this point for questions or anything like that, but we're happy to entertain any discussion that anyone has if there's time available.
Hi, Ian and Gina. Thank you so much. We do have time for questions. If anyone has one, you can throw it in the Q&A, or you can just unmute and go for it. I love a capybara, so thank you, Ian, for that. Those are adorable. Adorably huge, but very cute.
Yeah, I love those guys.
Yeah, I was trying to decide, for those of you who have watched Encanto, is that a capybara in the visioning scene with Mirabel and Bruno?
I thought it was.
I
Yeah.
thought it was too. Okay. Yes, Jennifer says yes. Oh, you would know. Jennifer's into her, are they rodents? Rodentia, yes. So, okay. All right, everyone says yes. Excellent, okay. Thank you so much. This is such exciting work. I'm so glad that we're moving forward and the constructs are truly masonized, which is the best part about this, right? We were able to, start from the, what I would call somewhat sturdy pillar system to a masonized, wonderful human approach to pathways. So thank you for this. Wonderful. Okay, so I am jumping in. I was honored. I was just at the Community College Women's Caucus and I was given a legacy award and I cried. None of you will be surprised by that, but just really very, very honored. And it's all for the work that we've done together. So it was just absolutely awesome. So I don't know where we are. Have all the vice presidents done their updates at this point? VPs, you can unmute and just tell me. Yeah, we're good?
We're good.
Okay, excellent. All right, well, I know when it's time to let people have a little extra time in their day. So thank you so much for coming. This is our last, thank you, Katrina. This is our last community forum for the spring semester. We do have another President's Cabinet meeting, but I just want to thank you all for hanging in there with us these last few years doing these community forums. I think it's been a wonderful way to stay in touch with each other and also a wonderful way for us to do professional learning along the way. So thank you everyone for contributing, and we will say have a great rest of your afternoon and evening. Thank you everyone.